Joining us on this special broadcast on a day when top sources in the government have confirmed that India may soon give emergency authorization to Russian-made Sputnik V, Sputnik vaccine with an efficacy of 91.6%. This could soon be available in India. The Russian side has signed several contracts with Indian firms to manufacture over 700 million doses. That's over 70 crore doses of the anti-coronavirus Sputnik V vaccine. The Russian foreign minister who is in India, Lavrov, has indicated that there was also a possibility that an Indian vaccine could be manufactured in Russia as well. So in the course of our broadcast on Republic TV, we've been cutting across live also to Russia Today or RT, and joining us this afternoon on the broadcast is Roman Kosarev, who's a correspondent with RT. Roman, good morning. In Moscow, Sputnik V seems to be a success from what we are reading here in India. Currently, the efficacy is about 91.6% as confirmed by the data published by the leading medical journal Lancet. But as someone witnessing the rollout on the ground, what have you been hearing about Sputnik V? How successful has it been?
Well, Niranjan, always great to see you, great to be on your program. And regarding Sputnik V, yes, indeed, has been a success. Actually, there was a poll made by YouGov in Great Britain, and according to the results of that poll, Russian Sputnik V vaccine is the most recognizable in the world at the moment. And in regards to the production in India that you just mentioned, and all the deals that were made with Indian biotech companies, the total number of doses that will be produced overseas now amounts to 1.1 billion doses. And of course, a major part of that will be produced in India. In terms of success, well, Sputnik V is one of Russia's 3 vaccines that show efficacy above 90%. And mind you, according to the producer of Sputnik V vaccine, the efficacy in the severe cases amounts to at least 100%. And of course, Russia's Sputnik V vaccine is now in the top 3 according to efficacy numbers in the entire world.
Well, that's great to hear. Roman, so how do you get, coming to my second point about Russia's cooperation globally on the vaccine, your foreign minister was very open to the idea of more and more countries not just manufacturing but using this vaccine, even though I think on the European Union front there has been some sort of hesitation. But the effectiveness of Sputnik V makes it also the world's cheapest and second most highly approved inoculation against coronavirus, has received approval from 57 countries, including China. How is Russia cooperating vis-a-vis vaccines globally?
Niranjan, just one correction, because this story is moving ahead so fast. So sometimes we don't catch up with it. In fact, it's 59 countries where Sputnik.
Okay, I'll correct myself. 59 countries. Okay, go ahead.
Well, yeah, exactly. Moving so fast that sometimes we don't catch up with it. But indeed, 59 countries have approved the use of Sputnik V. At least 10 countries are now in talks with Russia to produce the vaccine locally. And once again, India is one of the most successful negotiators in that regard. But yes, indeed, the Russian vaccine is one of the most, the most recognizable at the moment. And Russian Sovereign Investment Fund, who is responsible to bring this vaccine to the rest of the world, well, they have already announced that they're in talks with a lot more countries. And in terms of what you said about problems with the European Union and the fact that it takes them a long time to say that Russian vaccine is okay to use, well, that prompted different responses throughout Europe as well. For example, countries like Austria, Germany, Italy, all members of the European Union, they're already in talks privately by themselves outside of the European Union in order to bring the vaccine from Russia to their respective countries. I know that Russia is in talks with, in one of the final stages of talks with Austria to produce vaccines locally. and of course Germany as well. And one of the polls which was conducted by this British company YouGov also said that in Germany people are waiting for the Russian Sputnik V vaccine. So in terms of global recognition, in terms of a global demand for Sputnik V, well, it is on the rise, and representatives of Russia are talking with everybody. There are negotiations with everybody that wants to get the Russian vaccine. And of course, the ultimate goal here is to vaccinate as many people around the world as possible. And of course, to amass production to such a level that there is no need for it around the world.
Yeah. Coming to my third point about efficacy of the vaccine and the demand worldwide, Roman, there are reports of how Sputnik V vaccine appears significantly maybe less effective. These are just reports in combating the South African variant of the virus, and in a separate incident, a 200,000 dose order of Sputnik V not being administered in Slovakia. So has the demand for the vaccine quelled, or are these few and far between instances?
Well, to your last point regarding Slovakia, well, once again, according to the reports, Russian Direct Investment Fund was in talks with this company, but apparently that company was not accredited by the European Union, of which Slovakia is, of course, a part of. But Russian Direct Investment Fund that said that they're ready to continue talks with Slovakia, with a place that's been accredited by the European Union. And of course, that's just one hitch along process. And regarding your first point, which was, please remind me again.
The South African, reports of it, yeah.
The different variants of the coronavirus, the inventor of the vaccine, Gamaleya Institute here in Russia, they said that Russian Sputnik V vaccine is ready to combat all new variants of the coronavirus, and everything that exists to date, Russian Sputnik V vaccine is able to combat all of them. Of course, new variants appear quite often recently, and of course, all these things go directly into research, and so far, Russia's Sputnik V has shown efficacy against all different variants.
Yeah. Now, talking about Russia's battle against COVID-19, here in India, we're looking at a very strong second wave. Now, Russia, we have seen, according to reports and numbers, official numbers, that roughly about 8,900 COVID-19 cases in the last 24 hours, pushing the the tally rather to 4.5 million cases so far. The rate of increase seems to be at 0.2%. Is Russia looking at a second wave? How is Russia battling COVID?
Well, Russia has gone through its second wave already, and now we see the many countries in Europe, they're bracing themselves for a third wave. We see really high numbers of people who fell ill with the coronavirus, and we see numbers like 30,000, 40,000 in various countries. Russian numbers are quite low at the moment. If there will be another wave, it will be a third so-called wave, but vaccination in Russia is going at quite a good rate. People are getting vaccinated. You can get vaccinated basically anywhere now in Russia. You go to a shopping center, you go to your local clinic. Basically, there are so many vaccination points that there's no reason to say why you can't get vaccinated. Meanwhile, efforts in Moscow, efforts in Russia as a whole have been so great that we've been able to avoid these draconian measures, these draconian shutdowns or lockdowns all over the country. We did go through that last summer when you could see empty streets and people sitting at home and people needing permission to get outside. But right now, you can see people are going to sports events, people are going to concerts, they're going to bars and restaurants and theater. So life is back to normal here in Russia. Almost. People are still required to wear protective gear like masks and sometimes gloves, but it's certainly not as strict as in the rest of the world. Once again, this is due to the measures that's been undertaken by a Russian health ministry. It's due to well, people being disciplined in general. You go to stores, you can see everybody wearing masks and just generally being disciplined. So I guess that had a lot to do with the fact that Russia is living a semi-normal life at the moment. And meanwhile, governors of different regions here in Russia, well, they have carte blanche as to what to do on their own territory, what kind of restrictions to impose. And so far, it's worked great. And we are being warned here in Russia that the third wave of coronavirus is certainly imminent, just like in the rest of the world. But we are ready to approach this. We are fully armed at the moment. And hopefully the third wave will not be as grand as it was last year.
Just a short question. How many people roughly in Russia have been vaccinated so far? Is there a number or a figure?
There is, and now those numbers are being updated all the time with the Russian health ministry. I cannot give you exact numbers right now, but I know for a fact that over 50% of people over 60 have already been vaccinated.
Okay. So, Roman, coming to my final question on the global collaborations of Sputnik V, how will it be manufactured, if at all, in India? The Russian Direct Investment Fund, we are told, has gone on record to say that the cooperation is an important step to produce the vaccine in India to supply to international partners around the world. So how are global collaborations working so far, and how do you see it panning out in India?
Well, of course, let's start with India. At the moment, it looks like India will be one of the major producers of Sputnik V outside of Russia. Like I said earlier, Russian Direct Investment Fund have already said that at least 1.1 billion doses will be produced outside of Russia. And of course, at least 700 million of those doses will be produced in India, a country that has the resources, it has the manpower, it has the technology to do all that. And I have right here a little graph. I have at least 6 different biotech companies from India that are ready to produce right now. And one of the latest ones to sign was Panacea Technologies, and they will be producing at least 250 million doses. So certainly Russia is in talks also with other countries like Italy, like Austria, and they will produce locally as well. And Russia is hoping that that production will be used not only for the countries where it's produced, but for Russia as well, and nearby nations that require it. Plus, the cost of the Russian vaccine is one of the lowest in the world. It's $10 US per dose, so that will allow it to be distributed to as many places as possible.
Fantastic. Good talking to you, Roman, because we're expecting some news on this, on the emergency authorization in India on Sputnik V.